Hello, hello,
Hey,
hello.
hey, welcome back.
Welcome back to
Don't let the selfies fool you. I'm Nikki
And I'm Anthony.
Cervantes, and we're here for another episode.
Episode number 4.
I think it's number 6, babe.
Or number 6.
Who can keep track? Maybe it's 5.
You know what? We're just having a lot of fun with this, and hopefully you'll have fun with this as well.
Yes. So, oh my gosh, I can't believe. Yeah, I think it is 5 because last month made a month, and we were like, oh my gosh, yeah,
a month.
So we all waited. It's number 5. So here we are to give you 20 minutes of delicious conversation where we deep dive in some soulversations by picking randomly from our
mason jar.
So I don't know whose turn is it this week. Is it my turn?
It is my turn.
No way. Oh gosh. Okay. So before you pick,
let's go over what we were supposed to do as part of our homework as part of soulversations.
Yes.
And that was being
vulnerable
with a loved one.
Yeah, having
a family member.
Carefrontation conversations, not confrontation, but carefrontation.
Yes.
Yeah. So how was the week for you?
It was really great. It was great to be able to be vulnerable with you. And actually, even today, there was you asked me to support you.
Yeah.
And we went a couple times back and forth. Not that couples do that at all. And I just wanted to get an understanding how clearly I could support you. And then I started to tell you how I process, how I think. And then I have to give you your flowers.
Oh.
Immediately, after a few times, said, you know what, it's because...
Well, I think we should unpack it, because when you say, oh, I supported you in a conversation, let's unpack that. What was it exactly that I wanted support with?
Okay. There was a project that you were possibly going to work on, and the individual was going to be talking to you and just prepping you for next week, and to say, you know what, I'm here to support, and please hold me accountable, you and yourself, that you're there to support the project.
Right. And so in your mind, you thought I wanted to have this big conversation after a debrief. And I wasn't really clear, right? Because asking for help and really trying to put it in words of what I wanted, that was something that I really struggled with. So then when the resistance was me really saying what I wanted, and then I said, you know what? I'm sorry, because I'm not communicating. I'm expecting for you to be a mind reader, right?
And I'm not a mind reader.
And so then I apologized and I said, no, I want you to hold me accountable, because in this season, our word for this year is intentional, and we want to be intentional in everything that we do, everything that we say. Not that we're going to make it every day. We're not perfect. We pray. We ask God to give us, wisdom. And when we are in conversations and spaces, we want to make sure that, if I'm in this position, and I'm in this conversation, I'm in this space, what is my assignment? And so I want to be clear, because I don't know about you all, but I know that I tend to be the helper. And I'm like, oh, well, you got this project, and I'll just, I'm going to do it, right? And it could be a project that nobody's asked me for help about, or I'm just taking over the project, right? And I want to be intentional, and so I had to really sit in that and tell him. And you were like, oh, okay, no problem. And you did just that.
Yeah, so even today, we're learning day by day, minute by minute, and today was another learning experience in being vulnerable. Just saying, how is it what does that look like, is the words that I used.
Yeah, you did.
After a few times, I got the picture on what it was looking like, because it was not looking like that in my head at all. So that was a huge win. Huge win.
And it wasn't clicking for me, because until you said that. When you said that, well, what does that look like for you? And at first I got annoyed. I'm like, what does it look like for me? I just asked you, and then you said, well, this is what I heard you say, for clarity. And so I want to celebrate you and thank you for asking me, because you continuously asking me was pushing up against that resistance. And I said, you know what? It's not even about you. I'm annoyed because I'm asking for help, and now you're holding me accountable for the help that I'm asking for.
Yes.
So
yes.
so there's no vagueness. There's no, it's like, this is not a moving target. It's like, oh, this is what you asked for. Okay, now I can help you. There was no confusion. So
Yes.
that
yes.
was one. Good job.
Hey.
Yeah. All right.
All right, let's get right into the mason jar. We thank you for all of your comments as well as questions. Please email us at don'tlettheselfies.fool.you at gmail.com, and we will highlight your question.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to give this to you, Mr. Cervantes.
Always new questions.
I'm excited to know what's next.
Oh, I'm beyond excited. All right, here we go. Let's close up the jar.
Oh my
Here
gosh.
we go. Power of positive thinking. How has it helped you reset?
Ooh, yummy, yummy, yummy.
Man, oh man. So positive thinking. You know what? We can all be the worst critics of ourselves, especially. And it's so important to be able to tap into your positive self. With all that's going on in the world, and whether you see this in 2 days, 2 months, 2 years, or 20, it'll always relate and come back to this. There's always going to be positive and there's always going to be negative thoughts. And it's important for all of us to push past those negative thoughts and not to sweep them under the rug like I was sweeping today, because that's something I do good. I do chores. And it's important to say, okay, where is this feeling coming from? Was it an old memory, a past experience? Because we all conclude in life when something comes up, whether it's going to happen again. And it could be something as a project you were doing and it didn't get picked up. It could be a communication with your loved one and maybe it wasn't received. And after so many times, it's hard for us to then step again up to the plate and step again up to the plate and the podium or whatever it might be in your scenario.
So, Mr. Cervantes, tell me about a time that you maybe didn't practice or didn't know about positive thinking.
Yes.
And how did you come to see that this is something that worked for you? Right? So tell me an experience that you had where maybe you were just trapped in your own thinking, like the example you gave. Make it practical in your life. Give us an example.
Well, one of those examples happens to be being the culinary arts major that I am at this house. Meaning, AKA, what's for dinner, sometimes breakfast, and sometimes what's for lunch, depending. Early on in our relationship, as we have said before, and we're fully transparent, there were times when I would make something or even suggest something, and you would say, I'm not interested
in that selection.
And that really burned. I was like, what are you? I mean, I could never finish a sentence. I was speechless because I was growing up, you enjoyed the food. Food was a love. My mom would be the last one to eat because she enjoyed seeing the family eat.
Yeah.
And when I
So what was the thought planted in your mind when I said that? Or if I said I wasn't hungry. So what was the thought, the negative thought, the seed that was planted for you when you heard me say, I'm not interested in that selection, or I didn't want to eat?
I can't provide for you. I can't make delicious meals. That you don't love me. And it's so important that you bring that out because communication is the key. And because I didn't communicate, that started to go deeper and deeper and deeper down into the heart. And you know what? I process from the heart as well as I'm sure everybody processes from the heart and the mind. And that was a deep cut.
Deep-rooted seed.
Yeah, very much so. And it started to fester, started to grow. And, I would then start just making stuff for me. And then I felt really uncomfortable. And a lot of friction. I don't know about you all out there. What's for dinner? oh, okay, well, what are we going to eat? And prior to us closing up this whole world, it was, where are we going for dinner? Are we going to go out? Well, I want this or I want that. And it would come back to us and be like going back and forth for a while. And all I wanted to do was to provide for you.
Right, right. And so at what point did you see that, wow, this is a seed, this is affecting how I feel about myself, it's affecting the way we communicate, or what I think you might think, or you're saying, and not saying what you really mean, that you said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and have a courageous conversation and apply positive thinking so I can uproot this seed.
Well, that actually was not too long ago, and it was something that you told me. You said, you know what, I have just folded, I've given up, you know what, I'm just going to go to bed, you know, either hungry or, you know, I'm not even, you know, I don't want any food. And the way that you said it, I then told you I want to speak to my friend.
Yes.
And I told you that that hurt.
Yes.
And I said that I really wanted to love on you and provide for you. And each time that you would tell me that you weren't interested in the selection or you weren't hungry, and it's because maybe I felt that I couldn't make good meals, good healthy choices, good anything, I finally said, hey, dear, I'm talking to my friend. And I told my friend that that hurt. And then my friend in turn acknowledged.
I started crying.
Yes, that's true. And then acknowledged my pain.
Yeah.
So she validated.
Yeah.
And then says, you know what? You are an awesome person. You are an awesome friend.
And it has nothing to do with you.
Yes,
right.
yes.
It has nothing to do with you.
And then you said, you know that I'm going to eat whatever
you make. Right, right.
When that was told to me, unlock of a lock on my heart, it was such a celebration.
Right.
Something so simple was really large for me. And ever since, it's like, okay, I'm going to make this and I know she's going to eat it. Will she eat it right then and there? No, because we're running around looking after our 6-year-old, looking after our 24-year-old. Life, I know that she's going to eat it. So it's in the microwave or it's on the table, depending on what it is. And it's brought a lot more seed for confidence in me to be able to provide for my family. And part of that is cooking and making delicious meals.
And so for me, what you know now that you didn't know then is that I love to cook. And when I retired from my position, I took ownership, not having that conversation with you like, oh, now I have to be a full-time stay-at-home mom and I have to do everything, cooking, cleaning, and it has to be the best. And I put myself, because I am an overachiever, I want to do things like 150 million%, like it has to be the best, giving myself no room for grace or error. Used to operate, recovering, I'll say it like that. And so I would make these 5-course meals.
Man, oh man.
And with this like homemade salad dressing and desserts and all of this stuff. And I became very bitter. I became very bitter because I thought that this was what I was supposed to have done. And I made sure that when you came home, Gabby was nice and clean and tidy. And, you know, I looked fresh. The house was fresh. And I was exhausted. But I thought, what am I doing with my time? I'm just here, so this must be the new job. And I never communicated to you, I need help. Hello, somebody. Is anybody out there? You felt like we don't do that because we want to take on the world, right? And so that's how I felt. And then we become bitter because we're in a space where we don't really want to be. All I had to do was ask you for help.
Oh man. And all I had to do was communicate how I was feeling.
Right. And so for me not doing that I grew like a whole forest. Forget about a tree. I had a forest in my heart of just resentment and anger. And so then I went on strike. Like, I'm not eating nothing. I don't want to have no food. I don't want to do anything. And I completely shut down. So you saw that and you stepped in being the fixer, you know, and saying, listen, I'm just going to step in. I see she's burnt out. And the communication was broke down because we never addressed why we both felt the way we felt.
Mm.
This is such a delicious, rich topic,
really
isn't it?
was. It
And
really
we didn't
was.
even know it was gonna go this way, and we
Nope.
just came with an
Never
open
do.
heart and just open to tell you, you know, how we felt about this. So, and so when you told me that, when we had the conversation and I spoke to my friend, then it became very, when you said, I just want to provide for you, I had never had a man tell me that. I love you. I want to provide for you. I love to take care of you, because I was a single mom for 12 years. So I was just like, take care of me. What does that even look like for somebody else to take care of me? And so that's when my heart, I could feel God saying, hello, you know, and I need to dig this, this forest. We need to lawnmower this down and get on fertilizer so you can receive this, you know. And I'm so glad that you said, wait a minute, I need to talk to my friend, because that's always been how we come back to one another, because we were friends first.
Yes.
And beautiful friends, prayer partners, lunch buddies, and everything. And so, thank you for being open to the conversation this evening. Thank you for having the courage to push past any negative self-talk you thought, to say, listen, you're my wife, I love you, because that's what that little girl needed to hear. And not like, and then you told me, I appreciate everything you do, and I'm not trying to take advantage of you. And that was mind-blowing to me. You're like, we're on the same team.
Yes.
That was mind-blowing. And so that opened up the door for me to sit down and say, listen, this is how I feel. And so now we just enjoy one another, and it's just been beautiful. And I'm grateful. You've gotten very creative with your meals.
Yes.
Very delicious.
So,
right. And likewise, and when I cook, I cook when I want to cook. And it's,
hallelujah.
And I'm not doing all this stuff, right? Trying to be on a magazine. It's not like that. I'm like, we use paper plates today. Okay.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Wow. So,
this was a delicious, like you said, conversation, and even had involved food.
Right.
And you know, we want to honor your time.
Yes.
And we're going to pose the question to you. So this week's soulversations homework is the power. See, I'm not making it up. The power of positive thinking. How has it helped you reset?
Right. So
how did it help you reset?
Right. How did it help you when you thought about something maybe someone said, and it became first just a word, a fleeting thought, and then another incident happened, like my husband was speaking to, and now it's a seed, it's in your heart, and now next thing you know it's a tree, and then you believe that's who you are, it's your truth, and you know that it's not. How do you reset? And for us, we stop and we say, listen, I need to talk to my friend. Or, you know what, I'm tripping. You know, I'm anxious, I'm worried, I'm overwhelmed, or confused, or, you know, I'm just, I don't know, I'm annoyed with myself. I'm just tripping. That's what.
And it's okay to say I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And not have it all together.
Yeah.
It's important to be vulnerable. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Just like last week's soulversation homework, it's important to be vulnerable with your loved ones.
Right.
Because you can't keep it all together.
And
you just can't.
And I don't think we could have, like with vulnerability, that's like a thread. That's like a permanent thread, part of the fabric of our marriage. You have to be vulnerable, because you're not the same person 10 years. You're not the same person yesterday, and I know that I'm not. And so I have to keep going back to my friend, my why. Why did I marry you? What attracted me to you? And so as you're having, no, wait a minute now. The kids are still up. So stop. You know this is our first recorded episode, so let's just
and
bring
we want to thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
You know, we just jumped, and we encourage you. If there's something inside you, jump as well.
Yes, if you ever dream, you know God planted it, then jump. We don't know how or what, who's watching, or and we were actually really like petrified to get on live. This is our first, and we'll be uploading it on YouTube. I'm in my pajamas if you can't see. We're getting ready to go to bed, and and grateful to hold the space for married people who are just trying to navigate, not just through this season, the world timeout, but every day We love you and thank you so much for tuning in to
Yes.
Don't Let the Selfie
Don't let
Fool
the
You.
selfies fool you.
Take care.
Until next time, God bless.